check them out. These things are going to be cool looking on here. Kind of like a retro look or something. So plastics have shown up, graphics have shown up, and we're ready to apply our graphics. So I am a big fan of installing graphics with the wet mode. If you search around, you're going to find the wet mode and you're going to find the dry version of that. And I have done them with the wet mode, and it just is super easy, and I have not had a problem. I did them on my snowmobile this last season, which I feel like snowmobile graphics are a little bit more prone to peeling off and stuff. You're in the snow and just it's cold. There's just a lot of like negative things that we don't see in dirt biking. So I did not have any issues with mine. I took my time, and I like the wet mode, so that's what I'm going to be showing you. A couple things I've got here is a bottle of soap and water. So this is just like a couple of drops of like dish soap in a thing of water. I've got a bottle of isopropyl alcohol. This is going to be used for cleaning the plastics, making sure that there's not any residue on them that's going to screw things up. So that is your most important part of the process, is you want to make sure whatever you're putting your graphics on are room, at temperature. You want to make sure that they're warm, that your graphics are warm, and you want to make sure that they're clean. Otherwise, you are not going to get a good bond on things. So I just got, these plastics are brand new. However, I still am going to rub them down with the isopropyl alcohol, because sometimes they've got like these feel pretty good, but sometimes they've got like oil on them from the factory or something like that, and I just really want to make sure that the graphics stick and that they stick right, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with the easy one, the front number plate. That is a good method. I would say that I would recommend that as well if it's your first time doing graphics. Start with something simple that doesn't have a bunch of nooks and crannies and bends and weird stuff in it, but I'm going to start with this. So bottle of solution. I also have this little squeegee here. It's just a little piece of plastic, and that's going to help me push out wrinkles as we get going. And lastly, I have a heat gun. I have used this thing for quite a few different projects. This is a cheapo Harbor Freight pickup. I think this was literally like 20 bucks. So it's got a heat setting dial on the back, like a clockwise dial, and then it's got a multi-switch here that adjusts how hard the blower is running. So been a good tool, super cheap. So first things first, let's I'm gonna point you guys down here so you can kind of see what's going on as I'm doing this. So here we go, got that going, little isopropyl, just a nice little mist. Then I'm gonna come in and just wipe things down, get her nice and freshy all over. Make sure you got a clean towel that you're doing this with, otherwise you're not going to get it clean. So there's that. I'm going to grab the number plate sticker. So here we go. Before you do anything, throw it on there and just kind of eyeball things and see what you're working with. Make sure it's going to fit in the spots where it needs to fit. Got your little punch out there for the mounting bolt, so that's a good spot to look at and center. So that all looks bomb dig. I think she's gonna fit on there. I don't have to trim it or anything. Everything looks good. So next, in the process of doing that, I got a crumb on there. So just goes to show you, you got to really watch what's going on with these and make sure that you don't get crap on them or your graphics are going to look weird. Okay, soap and water, wet method. Here we go. Just a little spritz on there, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Can you kind of see? You know, I didn't just like totally drench it. So do that. Now we're going to peel off our decal backing. Try not to get your fingers on it. Want that pristine. I'm also going to spray a little bit of soap and water on this guy. So, little mist on this, little mist on the plate itself. And I'm going to shoot for that, see how I stuck it there a little bit? If this was dry mode, I'd be all sideways right now. Okay, so just kind of gracefully, I'm not straight, I can tell right now. See, so I started to stick it down, didn't like it, and when you're doing it wet mode, you can just start over, make sure you got things how you want it. So, if you look here, I'm going off of this guy right here, that's my main level, kind of squared up point. So wet mode is nice because you can kind of just gradually work things around and it's not just sticking wherever you touch it. So I like to go around, kind of get it, get it roughly on there where you think it's going to sit. Check things out, make sure that you're happy with it. Got my little squeege here. And just kind of squeege it out, nothing too crazy. Make sure your squeegee isn't full of rocks or something that you're going to scratch it, because I think I just did scratch them. It's alright, not the end of the world. So, got a few little wrinkles and stuff here. You can kind of see right there. You can see it in the reflection. See how I got some wrinkles like right here? It's alright. No big deal. It's not really, it's still wet right there on the edges, so it's not really sticking yet. And so that's fine. Just kind of, you can see water coming out of the bottom of this when you do this. So I'm going to kind of start over here with a clean slate. And I just go around this thing to where the spots are wrinkling up, and I just keep working on those spots and pushing the water out. To be honest with you, last time I did this, I don't even use the squeegee. I just use my fingers. So sometimes you got to use the squeegee, but not always. So, okay, we're starting to look pretty good here. It's not quite sticking there yet, but that's just because it's wet behind it still. Everywhere else looks good, and the main field out here, it's all good. So I'm going to start putting some heat on this bad boy. So, where are we going to start? I'm going to start right in the middle of this thing. So, like, right down through here, and then work my way out from either side. Oh yeah, see it, see water coming out. So, that's kind of it, you guys. Just keep working things out from the middle out. That always helps. Don't go from your edges in, because you'll end up with a wrinkle in the middle and then you got problems. Okay. wrinkle there, and I mean the heat helps too. It just warms everything up. So what you're doing is, when you're putting this heat on, it's evaporating all of your soap and water. It's behind the sticker and on the back of your sticker, and so as you do this, it starts evaporating that water back there. And ow, shit! My hand touched the end of the heat gun. It's hot. So yeah, as you're heating it up, it's evaporating that water out. It's warming up the sticker and making it easy to work with, and it just starts. Your graphic will start sticking. You can see on my wrinkles here, on this side I got some wrinkles. So I mean, you just heat that up and just kind of work them down, and they come out. See that? Gone. Just worked it right out of there. A little wrinkle down there. Right down there I got one. Okay. I think we're looking pretty good so far. Still some water coming out. I got a little wrinkle right there. Kind of see it right up here. I got a little wrinkle right there. So, boom. Throw a little heat on her. Get it dried up. There you go. A little heat to it, and just run it, squeegee it out with your thumb, and it's gone. Okay, boom. We look pretty good there, guys, not gonna lie. I think this bike's gonna look sicko when I get it all put together. Let's do a shroud. I got a feeling the shroud's gonna be kind of one of the more difficult ones to do, because they're big and they got a lot of angles to them and cutouts, and just there's quite a bit going on. So let's do a shroud and we'll see how that goes. So here we go. Shroud. Graphic. There is a lot going on with this plastic. I'm not gonna lie. We got several different spots that we need to make sure lined up here. 4 different bolt holes that we're needing to hit our mark on, and we're going to be bending around. Like, there's some spots where this thing's going to be bending tight, and so this is one that will definitely can be a challenge, to say the least. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Just wet it, and then you're good to go. So let's do it. Let's just wet her down, and let's just get started on it. Instead of sitting here beating around the bush thinking about it, I'm just gonna freaking put this thing on. Careful when you're peeling this stuff off too, just that you don't rip something, because that would suck and that would make you not happy with yourself, not happy with what you've done to yourself. Okay, a little soap and water. I'm gonna, I mean, you can put a bunch of soap and water on it. It's just that the more you do, the more you're gonna have to heat it up, and the longer it's gonna take for it to adhere. So you want to kind of find a happy medium there, so it's not taking forever. So I'm starting down low here. Yeah, this, I don't know how someone would do this without doing it wet mode style. Like, this is just a complicated one right here, and I just don't know. I just don't know how a person would do it and not screw it up. Make sure that these are lined up, and I'm kind of keeping it you know, there's a bend in this, so I'm making sure that my bend down the top of it, that I'm keeping that, you know, tight, and so I'm not getting a bubble there in the middle. So I'm laying pretty well right now. I got a lot of areas, you know, that I'm going to have to work on. Working on a fork guard right now. Boom. So I got pretty much all my graphics on. I'll show you here real quick. Went pretty good. Like I said, just took my time. But right now I'm working on my subframe on the side of the airbox cover, and there's a couple decals that go on there as well. And I did not replace this plastic piece, so I wanted to talk to you guys about that. So if you're going over your existing plastics or stuff that's been on there for a while and you've used it and you got scratches, or in this case there was graphics on this, there was a sticker on here, and so I had to pull that off. So again, get your heat gun out, warm that sticker up. It's going to help it peel off of there really nicely. So go through it, get it nice and warm that glue up underneath, and it'll peel off nicely. And then what I really wanted to show you is this is where cleaning is going to be super important, and you want to make sure that you spend a lot of time making sure all of the old glue, and just really get in there and clean the crap out of this plastic that you're going to go over that's old. And I mean, this thing's all scratched up and icky, and so that's it. You just want to make sure that when you're going over old plastics that you're really giving her the onion on getting it clean so that these things stick to it. So we'll go ahead and got my isopropyl alcohol, and I'm just going over this thing one more time to help get the last of the old glue off of the decal that was on here before. So one last little clean up there. We should be good. New decal. Soap and water, lube her up a little bit. Boom. There it is. Boom. I've been busy back here. Check out the bike. We got all the plastics on. New graphies. So last thing we needed to do was get the seat cover on. So I think it turned out pretty good. I like it. I'm not quite sure I like the coloring I chose for the seat cover. This is the old one. The new one is basically opposite colors of that. It's black on the sides, red on the top. So we'll see. They're not super expensive, so if I don't like it, I might end up doing a all black. I gotta get numbers. I think I'm gonna go with some like light gray numbers. So it's I'll put up a picture or something of what my bike looked like before I did all this. It was